Hello guys, so yeah, I'm back again. Unfortunately, not with anything positive at all. The hope was probably the next video I was going to make was going to be about something positive, something we can all rejoice about. I was actually planning to make my next video about our quarterfinal game against Algeria. That is, by God's grace, after beating them. But it so happens that I wasn't given the opportunity to be able to wait till that time because something terrible just happened. So I saw the news today, which is already circulating with a lot of people already talking about it. That the Super Eagle, which is the players per se, have not been paid their bonuses. Yes, you heard me well. They've not been paid their bonuses. Now, you may be wondering why this is worth talking about. Remember my first video, I made mention that there were a lot of people that came out to insult Osimhen for how he behaved, right? People that believed that they have the right to insult him. Why? Because they believe that he was their representative. He was an ambassador to them, and he went on the public stage and disgraced the country. They believed they had the right not just to criticize him or insult him. Okay, now I've been watching for those same people to come out and show the same level of energy, right? If you can insult people that represent you when they're not doing what you want them to do, what do you do after they finish carrying out their own duties, their responsibilities, and they're not being given a well-deserved reward, which is the payment of their bonuses? Should you not have the same energy to come out and at least have the dignity to either apologize or give the same insult back to those that refuse to pay them their bonuses? But no, they're nowhere to be found. They've suddenly become silent. They are now dumb. They can't hear, they can't speak. They're now deaf and dumb. They can't speak and they can't hear now. They can't hear what is going on and they can't speak about it. You know why? Because it doesn't fit into their narrative that some people are just arrogant. They came from poverty and suddenly they've seen wealth. Now they don't have the respect. They don't know how to show respect to other people. They go to global stage to disgrace Nigerians, to disgrace their family. That's what some people were saying. Now the question is, those of you that could come out then to criticize Osimhen, which will have been understandable if it was just criticism, but a lot of you went on to insult him, even insulting his family, right? All right, what do you have to say now? The NFF has failed to pay them their well-deserved bonuses. What do you have to say? I'm very sure you can disagree with me that there is something wrong with our country, of course. As someone who has benefited from Nigeria, yes, I'm going to say it, I've benefited from Nigeria. Because Nigeria sponsored me abroad to study, right? I will forever remain thankful for that. But the current Nigeria we're seeing today, we can all agree that this is not the Nigeria of our dream. At least this is not the Nigeria we all grew up knowing. Because growing up as a child, there used to be this image of Nigeria that we had. It could be because our parents shielded us from probably the rotten Nigeria, or it could be because things are actually getting worse. It could be that we actually had a far better Nigeria then compared to now, which I believe is most likely the real outcome. I don't think anyone would disagree that we used to have a better Nigeria than what we have today. People say, why are the players complaining about not being paid their bonuses? These guys are millionaires. Oh, really? You just you gave a task to someone which the person has completed. What should be the next thing to do? Pay them for their services. How does it matter if they're millionaires or not? How is that your concern? Your concern should be you paying for the services that has been offered to you. So no, they're millionaires. What will this do for them? Let them decide that. Pay them their wages. Let them decide that. Okay? Because this is too much, actually. This is an experience that is not just limited to the players. While I was a scholar, I also had to go through this for a very long time. I was still very young, quite young, when I was sent to a foreign country to study. Yes, I'm very grateful. You could say not a lot of people had the opportunity to go abroad to study, right? Okay. But it was more like we were dumped in a foreign country because for more than a year, we were never given any stipend. The agreement was we're going to have support from our government, a monthly support as students studying in foreign lands. Now imagine studying in a country without your family, no relative. You had to depend on government for allowances. And you went a complete 1 year. A complete 1 year. I can still remember this. It was about 13 months before we finally got paid out of our wages, not even the complete amount. Why am I saying this? We're still having the same issues till date. Not long ago, about yesterday or thereabouts, I came across a video where Very Dark Man was talking about this same issue of some students in Algeria or Russia where they've not been paid their wages. So we're all saying that these players should be patriotic, right? We're saying, why are they not being patriotic? Even if they're being old man, they should go and play the game and they could be paid later. You in a position responsible for paying their wages, their bonuses. Why can't you be patriotic? What exactly is stopping you from paying them their wages? Is there any reason why you've decided not to pay them their wages? The same could be said that this is not just an issue that is limited to one sector in Nigeria. If it could happen to footballers representing the country on the international stage, if it's happening to students being sent abroad to study, if it's happening to teachers being owed their wages, if it's happening to students going on strike all the time, is it not high time we all agree or sit down and look back and agree that something definitely is wrong and something has to change? I don't want to come here and sound like I'm here berating our government, criticizing them for the sake of criticism. No. I'm at least trying to admit that there is something wrong that needs changing. Unlike many other people, I actually do not believe that this is just a simple issue of the government. I believe it's a general societal problem that we have. Yes. Because we speak sometimes as if when we talk about government, these are some aliens imported from other countries to come and rule Nigeria that suddenly don't know our way of life. Oh, this government, they've been imported from Mars, from Pluto to come and rule us. They don't know our way of life. Why have they been so terrible? But the reality is, these are people, these are our fathers, these are our grandfathers, these are our uncles, these are our aunties. These are people that grew up in the same society with us. These are people we grew up with the same values with. So what it simply means is the system generally has got a problem. If we keep breeding the same type, kind of leaders, then it's high time we agree that the problem is not just leadership, it's a societal problem. You could say, I'm not saying that we don't have amazing people that could do this job better, right? I'm not saying that. But we simply have a system that does not give the room to those that are qualified to be in such position. But we can never actually say who will be there that will do the right thing. So first thing we need to do is, I agree, we should try to be patriotic. It shouldn't just be the players, right? That should be patriotic. We should all try to be patriotic. We should have a vision of Nigeria that we want in our head, right? A Nigeria that prospers. A Nigeria that continues to grow, to develop. A Nigeria that can protect its citizens from terrorists. A Nigeria that can feed its citizens. Because we have farms. And we have very well-skilled farmers that are ready to farm only if there is security. A Nigeria that can house its citizens. We want to have leaders that actually care about the people. We want to have leaders that will have solutions to our problems. We want to have leaders that will do everything possible to make sure that there is continuous development in our country. There is job. We want to have leaders that will make it easier for students studying in diaspora in other countries to come back home and serve the country. We want to have leaders that will make it so enticing for people in other countries, Nigerians in other countries, that they want to come back to Nigeria. It's crazy, you know. There was a point in my life where I'll be arguing with some other Nigerians, telling them, trying to convince them why they all need to return to Nigeria immediately after completing their studies. Well, of course, it's not as if I was somehow oblivious to the problem we have in Nigeria. No, I've always known about it. But the hope then was, at some point, things are going to change, right? And the government, the society itself is going to give opportunity to the coming young minds to try to use their talent wisely to bring about development within the country. But it just so appeared that things are getting worse. And when those people see me nowadays, or even text me or call me, when we communicate and they ask me, what's up? Do you still stand by your point? Yes, I still do stand by that. But I can also understand why no one wants to go back to Nigeria or return back to Nigeria. Because they don't actually see vision on how they can contribute. The question I want to ask is, how do you send students to a foreign land? You've spent so much resources to sponsor their education, but there's no plan on how they can be integrated into the system to make an impact in the country. People actually do believe that most Nigerians that go abroad to study, the reason they don't come back is because they prefer those countries. It might be true, but there's a reason why. Are they being given opportunity to actually make any impact in their country? No, really. So if you tell someone to return back home after completing their studies, what reason will I give them for returning back to the country? To come and start running up and down for a job? Okay, let's say they have ideas on what they can create that will impact the society. What support will they get? There is now a phrase people always say, oh, Nigeria has happened to him. Nigeria happened to him. It's a very terrible phrase, right? Nigerians will understand what this means. So should I tell them to go back to Nigeria for Nigeria to happen to them? What is going on? What is going on? Please pay our players. Let them win this AFCON for us. Nigerians are already very heartbroken because of the World Cup we couldn't make it to. A lot of Nigerians are happy currently because of how the team has been performing in AFCON. They actually believe, Nigerians are starting to believe again that just maybe, this might be the year AFCON will come back to Nigeria again. Please, let it not be our officials that will hinder this progress. There are a lot of things currently dividing the nation. AFCON is one of the very few things bringing the nation together. Please, let's not cut this happiness, this joy, let's not cut it short. Because we all know Nigerians can be unforgiving sometimes. Thank you. Please, let's do the right thing.